The 55th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment was officially organized in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in August 1861. Its recruitment was spearheaded by Colonel Richard White, a local leader with experience in military matters. The regiment was composed of volunteers from multiple counties across Pennsylvania, including Cambria, Berks, Blair, Bedford, Schuylkill, Dauphin, and Indiana. Each county contributed a company to the regiment, which by the end of 1861 had reached a full complement of 10 companies. These men, many of them farmers, miners, and artisans, quickly transformed from civilians to soldiers, ready to fight for the Union cause. In November 1861, after extensive training, the regiment was fully mustered into service. The early months were spent on picket duty and fortification work in various locations. But by the summer of 1862, the 55th was deployed to the southern front lines, particularly in South Carolina, where they participated in the Battle of Simmons Bluff on June 21, 1862. This engagement marked their first significant combat experience, serving to test the regiment's mettle. The 55th Pennsylvania Infantry participated in many important campaigns throughout the war. Perhaps their most notable actions took place during operations in South Carolina and Virginia. Throughout 1862, the regiment was stationed in South Carolina, assigned to the Department of the South. Their duties included guarding key points and engaging Confederate forces in the region. One of their key engagements was the expedition up Broad River to Pocataligo in October 1862. This Union effort sought to disrupt Confederate supply lines by destroying the Charleston and Savannah Railroad, but after intense fighting near Frampton's plantation, the Union forces, including the 55th, were forced to retreat, suffering 29 casualties. Despite setbacks, the 55th remained an active part of Union operations in the region. They spent much of 1863 guarding Port Royal Ferry, a strategic position near Beaufort, South Carolina. This post not only provided the regiment with valuable experience, but also prepared them for more intense battles to come. In 1864, the regiment was transferred to the Army of the James, where they played a critical role in the operations around Richmond and Petersburg, Virginia. One of their first major engagements was the Battle of Drury's Bluff in May 1864. During this battle, the 55th was stationed on the Union left flank. Despite their efforts, they were outflanked by Confederate forces and suffered heavy casualties, including the capture of Colonel Richard White, Lieutenant Colonel Frank T. Bennett, and many other officers. Nearly 300 men from the regiment were either killed or captured. The regiment continued to fight throughout the grueling Petersburg campaign, including the Battle of Cold Harbor in June 1864, where they once again experienced heavy losses. At Cold Harbor, the regiment's commander, Captain John C. Shearer, was seriously wounded, and Captain James S. Nesbitt assumed command before being wounded himself. Despite these setbacks, the regiment held its ground until ordered to withdraw. One of the most harrowing moments for the regiment occurred during Grant's first assault on Petersburg in June 1864. The 55th was part of the initial Union force that attacked Confederate fortifications at Petersburg. Advancing across open fields, the regiment came under withering fire, losing more than half its strength in just 10 minutes. Despite these losses, they continued to serve in the trenches at Petersburg throughout the summer of 1864, participating in various actions, including the famous Battle of the Crater. Several key figures emerged from the ranks of the 55th Pennsylvania Infantry during its 4 years of service. Colonel Richard White. As the regiment's first commanding officer, White was responsible for organizing and leading the 55th in its early battles. Captured at Drury's Bluff, White remained a prisoner for much of the remainder of the war. Lieutenant Colonel Frank T. Bennett, another significant leader, Bennett, like White, was captured at Drury's Bluff. His leadership prior to his capture helped the regiment remain cohesive through tough campaigns. Captain John C. Shearer. Following the capture of White and Bennett, Shearer took over command during critical battles like Cold Harbor. His bravery under fire earned him respect from his men, despite his injuries. The 55th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment continued to serve until the final days of the war, being present at the Siege of Petersburg and contributing to the ultimate fall of Richmond. By the time they were mustered out of service on August 30th, 1865, at Petersburg, Virginia, the regiment had suffered 479 casualties, including 7 officers and 201 enlisted men killed or mortally wounded, with an additional 268 men succumbing to disease. Despite the high toll, the service of the 55th Pennsylvania Infantry was critical in several major campaigns, particularly in the eastern theater of the war. Their courage and sacrifices were emblematic of the dedication and resilience of Union forces during the Civil War. For collectors and historians, the 55th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment offers a rich field of interest. Artifacts from the regiment, such as letters, photographs, and equipment, provide valuable insights into the daily lives of these soldiers. Regimental histories, including Samuel P. Bates' History of Pennsylvania Volunteers, 1861 to 1865, document the actions and service of the 55th, offering a crucial primary source for researchers. One notable piece of memorabilia associated with the 55th is the regimental battle flag, which has been preserved as part of Pennsylvania's Civil War battle flag collection. Items like this, along with personal diaries and letters from soldiers, continue to be of significant interest to collectors, especially those specializing in Civil War ephemera. In summary, the 55th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment played an essential role in the Union war effort, demonstrating tremendous valor in some of the Civil War's most brutal campaigns. From the low-country swamps of South Carolina to the bloody fields of Virginia, the 55th soldiers displayed determination and bravery in the face of overwhelming odds. Their sacrifices helped shape the outcome of the war, and their legacy lives on through the preservation of historical artifacts, regimental histories, and the ongoing interest of Civil War enthusiasts. Whether viewed through the lens of history or collectability, the story of the 55th remains a poignant reminder of the human cost of the Civil War and the enduring legacy of those who fought to preserve the Union. Thank you for listening. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history. Before you go, a simple way to support the efforts of this channel is to like, subscribe, comment, and share.